Hello again everyone. So we have actually now officially finished all the tasks from the textbook from your workbook. Your workbook, as you know, is around, like, let's see how many pages is your workbook. Is around 130 pages long. But as you can see, some of the pages are blank. So let's say it is 60 pages because it's half and half. One page is blank, one page is text. 60 pages long. And we just done activity 22.5 in our previous question, which is the partnerships task, which we have finished. And officially now we are into the revision. Okay. But even while doing revision also, you will be learning so many new things, because with Excel, sometimes in question papers, what we have learned from the textbook and what we see in the question papers is completely different. So that's why I have attached here so many sample question papers also. Okay, so I'm going to take you through all of these questions also by doing a video. And then you will have to keep practicing this again and again and again until you build up the speed and until you can do all these questions without using any help. Now, currently in your AAT papers for synoptic, you only have two questions, task 2.1 and task 2.2. That's it. And there is no written reports or anything. But these papers are from 2016. It's our old versions of paper when synoptic was first released. At that time, they had 3 questions and also a written report in the spreadsheets part. Okay. But currently you do not have that. Okay, so you only have 2 questions and no written part in the spreadsheets. You have a written report in your ethics part, but there is no written report in the spreadsheets part. In these question papers, when you are doing the 2016 papers, you will see a written report, but you can just ignore that part because currently in spreadsheets you are not doing any written reports. So first I am going to start off with the AAT sample assessment papers from 2016, which was the first version of the synoptic reports. And the activity what we are doing is task 2.1. So there will be task 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3 for every sample assessment paper, because these are all old papers. Okay. Now I have already copied pasted this question into my Excel sheet. Now the files what you need, again you can see AAT sample assessment 2016 task 2.1. These files have not been shared with you before. So today when I am sending you the videos, I will be sending you the files also along with these videos. Okay. So please download that files, save it in a place and then make changes. But don't change the original files, because it will help you to re-practice the task again and again. So when you complete it, save it as a different file, but keep the original file as it is, so that you can keep opening the same file so that you can re-practice, or else you can download it from the email anytime. So there will be again the new files. Okay, that's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, so this is now our exam practice. So this is sample assessment 2016 from the AAT website. Not currently, you won't find this question in the AAT website anymore, because they have updated them, but we will be doing those questions also very soon. And this is task 2.1. So let's see what is this about. You are Sam Jones, a part qualified accounting technician. You work for BLM & Co., a business which manufactures and sells sinks. BLM Co. is owned and run by Brian and Lakmani Moore in partnership. You cover all aspects of bookkeeping and accounting for the business, and today's date is 31st of March 2018. Let's assume that. BLM & Co. has suffered a computer crash. You have been asked to complete the half-year sales spreadsheet for the 6 months ended 31st December 2017, which was extracted immediately before the crash. You have been given a spreadsheet which contains information relating to the sales in the last 6 months of 2017. It contains 2 worksheets, invoices and price list. So you can see invoices and price list. Download this spreadsheet file from the assessment environment. So when you are in the actual question paper, these files you will have to download, like how you downloaded the Sage question paper. In the same way, the Excel data, you have to be downloading them. But we will do some couple of mocks in the classroom, so you will know how to do all these things. Do not worry about them now. Save the spreadsheet file in appropriate location and rename using it to the following format. So when you're renaming the file, you should name it as follows: your initial, your surname, your AAT number, today's date, and task 2.1. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So you go to File, Save As. I'm going to currently put it on the desktop. Okay, so it will be easier. So if you want, you can choose your own locations, desktop. And the file name is first your name, isn't it? Let me just check what did they say the file name to be. Read the instructions. Your initial and your surname and your AAT number, and the date and the task number. Desktop. Your initial, your surname. I'll use something else. Then the date 5/4/21 and the task 2.1. Okay, and then you save it. You can either save it as an older version or you can save it into the newer version Excel workbook. Okay, that's up to you how you want to save it. So I'll change it into a newer version and say save. File is saved, and you can see the file name is according to what they asked. A high degree of accuracy is required. You must save your work as XLS or XLX file at regular intervals. So in order not to lose your work, you have to keep saving your file at regular intervals. Open this renamed file. My file is already open. In the worksheet called Invoices, use a VLOOKUP function on the item number data to calculate the net sales using information from the price list worksheet. So in the invoices, we need to calculate the net sale. In here, we know how much quantity has been sold, but we do not know the price. But the price is given to you in the price list. So you need to pick up the price from the price list based on the item number, and then multiply it with the sold, which will give you the net sale. So to calculate this, you need your VLOOKUP, and they want to use the VLOOKUP on item number. They already told that in the question if you want to see again. Use VLOOKUP function on item number data to calculate the net sales. So equal to formulas, lookup and referencing, VLOOKUP, lookup value is my item number, table is in the price list, item number is the first column and price is the last column, so select the whole table. Column index number, you want to return the price, and price is in column 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So column index number is 4 and the range lookup is false because we want to look for an exact match. Say OK. But this will only return the price. But what you want to do is the net sale. So multiply this price which is returned by the VLOOKUP function with the item sold, which will now give you the net sale. Now you can copy paste this into the next cells, but before you do that, your C7 can change to C8, C9, etc. But the table in A4 to D12 is not changing. So make sure you put absolute referencing on the cells for the table array. Press OK. And then you have to drag it to the next cells. This is a very long data. If you can see, if you scroll down, you can see it's going on and on and on and on and on. So rather than dragging up to the end, what you can do, just go to the corner of this mouse and then double click, and then it will calculate automatically, so you don't have to drag it down. So you can see you can go up to the last cell and you can see that everywhere it has been copied. Now what we need to do, next step, use absolute referencing to calculate the gross sales value of each invoice using the VAT figure provided in cell I2. Now we need to calculate the gross sales. Net sales plus 20% will give you the gross sales. Don't calculate 20% only and leave it, because that will only give you the VAT. But to get the gross sales, it is net plus 20% of the net, equal to net plus 20% of the net, which is in cell I2. And they want to use absolute referencing because this VAT rate is not changing. So put I2 in absolute referencing. Press enter. Same thing again, move to the corner, double click, all the other rows will be calculated. Then you have to concentrate on every bullet point, okay? Don't leave anything. Check for and remove any duplicates in the invoices, okay? So sometimes there might be some duplicate data, okay? So you need to check and remove any duplicates. How do you know if there is a duplicate? Because product number can repeat, type can repeat, quantity can repeat, but what will not repeat is the invoice number, because invoice number is going to be unique. So if you can see that the invoice number is repeating, that means that there is a duplicate, okay? So let's see how do we check and remove duplicates. Highlight only the data, not the whole sheet. Scroll down quickly until the end of the data. It is going to take some time because the data is very lengthy. 1 minute. Oh my God, it's going on and on and on. Okay. I just highlighted all the data and somehow lost it again. Oh, it's there. Okay, so all the data is now highlighted, and now I'm going to show you how to remove duplicates. Go to the data tab, and then there should be one option over here to remove duplicates. See this one here, it says remove duplicates. So data tab, click on this button which says remove duplicates. Select that, and then it is asking you which column or row you need to select to look for the duplicates, okay? So unselect all and select only invoice number. So when the invoice number is repeating, then you will know that there is a duplicate. So unselect all and select invoice number and say OK. And then it says 2 duplicate values have been found and removed. Say OK. So it has already found it and removed it. So you do not need to do anything. Then if there are any duplicates, enter the number found in cell J2. So we said it said 2 duplicate fall values were found. So in cell J2 they want you to enter how many duplicates were found. So you found 2 duplicates. So we entered that there. Make sure all the contents of every cell can be seen. Make sure all the contents are seen. Like some of the data is cut, isn't it? So highlight your whole sheet. Home, Format, Auto Fit Column Width. Now you can see all the data is clearly visible. Now next question. Insert a pivot chart and a pivot table into a new worksheet of the number of diamond type sinks sold in each of the 6 months from July to December. Okay, so you are doing a chart, okay, and also a table, 2 things together. It's not like a graph, it is a pivot chart and a pivot table. Pivot chart and pivot table are used when the data is very large. Like currently, if you can see, this data is very huge. So you need to be able to filter the data to only see relevant information. So when you want to do that, you use a pivot chart and a pivot table. Because if you use a normal graph, all the data will be taken into consideration and the chart cannot be clearly readable. It will be too complicated. So when you have large data and you want to filter out the sections, so you only want to see specific information in your chart, in those circumstances we use a pivot chart and a pivot table. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. Highlight your data again. Sorry, we'll have to do this a multiple times, so let's try to do it a bit quickly this time. Okay, now we need a pivot chart and a pivot table. So click on Insert, and there we have this option, pivot chart. Click on this small arrow mark. We don't just want a chart, we want a chart and a table. So click on that, pivot chart and pivot table. And then it is asking you, where do you want this pivot chart and pivot table? Always use a new worksheet. Okay, don't put it into the same sheet, because in the same sheet you already have the data, so you can't see the chart clearly. So always insert the chart in a new worksheet, and the table is already highlighted, so you don't have to put any table range again. So new worksheet and say OK. You can see your chart now, but nothing is developed because you have to develop this pivot chart. Okay, so to develop this pivot chart, let's see what do they want to see in the pivot chart. They want to see, this first sentence is very important to understand what they want to see in this data. Insert pivot chart and pivot table into a new worksheet for the number of diamond type sinks sold in each 6 months from July to December. So they want to see the number of diamond type sinks sold from July to December. So they want to see when, which is July to December. They want to see the type, which is diamond, jade, ruby. They have similar types. And then they want to see how many, which means quantity. So these are three things they want to see in the table. So let's drag those three things. So when is when you have sold them. So this will be in your axis category, July to December, when. Then you need the values, which is the quantity. So where is your quantity? Sold. Quantity sold. Drag this into values. And then you want to see the type, diamond type and so on. Drag the type into filter. The reason for that is, if you go into look into the types, you have so many types, emerald, jade, quartz, etc. But you don't want to see all the types. You only want to see the diamond type sold. So you want to filter the type. You don't want to see all the product sales. You only want to see the diamond type. So because of that, drag the diamond into filter. Okay. So now the chart is slowly forming. Now here you can see type all is been showed. But according to your chart, you only want diamond. So click on this arrow mark and select only diamond and say OK. You can see that only diamond type data is now getting displayed. Okay. Now let's see what do we need to do. Ensure the pivot table is sorted in chronological month order. In month order, July, August, September, October, November, December. It's already in the correct month order. You don't need to do anything. Then format the chart series to show the best sales for the period in black and worst sales in red. They want to show the best sales in black and the worst sales in red. Rather than reading from here, read from the data. The best one I think is in September because you sold 253, the highest number. And the worst one is in August, you only sold 197. So best one in black. So when you select one bar, all of them are selected. click on again and only that one bar is selected. Right click and change fill color to black. And the worst one in red, again the same thing. One click will select all. Second click on the same will only select that one. Right click and change it to red. So the best one is in black and the worst one is in red. Add a chart title, Diamond Sink Sales. We need a title. You have a title here, just change it. Diamond Sink Sales. Even this video is also going to be a bit lengthier, guys. Sorry about that. Then enlarge the chart so that the whole legend is clearly seen. Legend means these names over here. They are already seen, but just to make it more presentable, make it a bit bigger. Now you can see the whole data clearly. Produce a trend line and color it red. So now we need to add a trend line to see how the sales are behaving. Select all the bars. Pivot chart design. Add chart element, trend line. They did not say which trend line to use. We always use mostly linear trend line. When they don't say anything, use linear trend line. Linear. And they wanted to color it red. So they want this linear trend line to be in red color. So click on the trend line, go to this bucket symbol. Increase the thickness also. They did not say anything, but it looks too small. So just increase it to make it more presentable. And then make it red. And there is your trend line completed. Name the worksheet Diamond Sinks Sold. So this is your sheet, your pivot table. Rename it. Diamond Sinks Sold. So that's a pivot chart done. Question is still not finished. We are continuing. Now we are looking into the D part of the question. Return to the invoices worksheet and filter the whole table by net sales to show the bottom 5 net sales. So they want you to apply a filter. So to apply filter, don't select the whole data, only select the headings. We all learned about filters when we were doing some sample questions. Now this is all practicing of the same skills. You go to sort and filter and you click on filter. And they want to see bottom 5 net sales. So click on this arrow mark beside the net sales and click on number filters. And here you have an option called top 10. Okay. Click on that and change this top to bottom because you don't want to see the top 5, you want to see the bottom 5. And reduce this 10 to 5 and say OK. And you can see all the lowest 5 sales are getting displayed. Insert a subtotal formula in the net sales column to work out the average of the bottom 5 sales. Now we have done some other subtotals before where we went to the data and used a subtotal. I think it's not in data, I think it's in review. Let me check that 1 minute. Yep, you can see under data, you done one subtotals previously, okay? But this subtotal and that subtotal is different. That subtotal is used when we want to subtotal the whole data. But here we filter the data and we want to only subtotal the bottom 5 net sales. Okay, so this is a different subtotal what we are using. There are two subtotals in Excel. One subtotal is where we have done the whole subtotaling of the data. That is done using the data and the subtotal from here. But when you want to total the filtered data, this is a subtotal function what we are using now. So what do they want you to do? Subtotal formula in the net sale column to work out the average of the bottom 5 sales. So they want you to do an average of the bottom 5 sales in the net sales. So let me just show you what a normal average function will do. So average, select the cells. So even though there are only 5 cells here, it is actually averaging from H17 to H166 because the other remaining data is hidden when you done the filtering. So when you do an average like this, it is calculating an average of all the hidden cells also. So that's why the answer is not accurate. It is coming as 4256. But when you check an average of these cells, because this is all around 600, 700, you should be getting an average of 720 or something, but not 4000. Because when we use an average function, it will take all the data, even though if it is seen here or not seen here, because it is taking from H17 to H116. So that is why when you filter data, and if you want to do mathematical operations on filtered data, you need to use a subtotal function. Okay, so remove this one. I'm going to make a note of that over here so that you know how we are doing it. Subtotal function is used to complete mathematical operations on filtered data so that the hidden data is not taken into consideration. Okay, so that is why we use the subtotal function. So let's see the subtotal function now. Equal to subtotal coming. Now what we want to do? We want to do a average. So you can see the numbers here. Number 1 is for average, number 2 is counting, number 4 is for maximum, number 5 is for minimum, and then number 9 is for sum. What we want to do is average. So put number 1, comma, the numbers, which is from here to here. H17 to H1666 again, but the only thing is it will only take into consideration the data which is visible. It will not take into consideration the data which is hidden. Press enter, and now you can see this is your subtotal, which is 697 pounds and 60 pence. When I said 720 previously, I was just assuming because I did not calculate it yet, but that is your subtotal figure. Now what else do we need to do? Insert format this column as GBP currency with a pound sign. So we need to format it, currency, right click, format cells, currency, 2 decimal places with a pound sign. When they say currency, they don't tell you decimal places, but automatically by default when you say currency, it is 2 decimal places. Done. Insert a formula in cell A1 that will always show the current date and time. Current date and time in A1. Date and time. So equal to now, open and close bracket. So it will show the date and the time. Set the worksheet to show formulas rather than the resulting values of formulas, and ensure all the contents can be seen when you set page to landscape. Now they want you to show formulas rather than the data. So select the whole sheet. Don't think so we can select. Let's try. Formulas, and there is an option called show formulas. So when you do that, you can see instead of showing the data, it is showing the formulas what you used in every cell. but some of these formulas are cut. So to make sure they are seen clearly, highlight the data, home tab, highlight the whole sheet, home tab, format, auto fit column width. And that's your all the data is now showing formulas and everything is in one sheet. They want to set the page to landscape. So file, print, and change it from portrait orientation to landscape. So when you change it, you can see all the data is coming clearly. So that's done. Is it coming? No, it's only showing up to invoice number. So let's reduce the size, fit to 1 page width and 1 page tall in landscape. Say OK. Now you can see all the data is getting fitted in. Because of this text on the side, it is coming very small, but don't worry about that. You don't type this text, so it will be much clearer here. Let me delete that and show you again. File, print, page setup, landscape, 1 page pitch, 1 page tall. And now you can see all the data is coming into one page and in landscape. Then take a screenshot of the worksheet showing formulas and paste it into a new worksheet. So they want you to take a screenshot of this plus your print screen, paste it into a new sheet. Name it screenshot. They did not ask you to do that, but I am doing it. And come back to the original sheet. Oh, they want to name it formulas, sorry, not screenshot. Return to the invoices worksheet and remove show formulas setting. Come back here and remove show formulas. That is, we want to see the data. So go to the formulas and unclick show formulas and you can see the data. But again, as you can see, as soon as you change it, it is not visible properly. Anytime data is not visible properly, select the whole sheet, home, format, auto fit column width. Next thing, go to the worksheet called price list and protect only the range A4 to D12 with a password 2018. Okay, they gave you XX, but we can use 2018. But you are in 2021, you can use 2021 also. Ensure all other cells are not protected. So we want to protect the price list because we don't want people to change the prices. So we want these cells to be protected so that nobody can change them. Okay. So there are some steps which you need to follow to do this. So I'm going to show it to all of you now. First, highlight the whole data. Format cells. Protection. Currently, usually all the cells are locked. You can, if you say protect sheet, when all the cells are locked, the whole sheet will get protected. But they only want you to protect from A4 to D12. That is the ending. They don't want to protect the whole sheet. So that's why first unlock all the sheets and then lock only the sheets which you want to protect. Okay. So I'm repeating that again. They only want to protect A4 to D12. So if you go to the price list and go to review and say protect sheet, it will protect every sheet, the whole cells. But you only want to protect this range. So to ensure that, first you need to unlock the whole sheet. So right click, format cells, protection, unlock them. That means unclick that locked button and say OK. Now select the range which you want to protect. Only select the range which you want to protect. Right click, format cells and lock. OK. And now at the same time, with the same highlighting, click on protect sheet. it will ask you what is the password. If you forget the password, you cannot unprotect it anymore. So 2021. If you want to use any other password, you can, but make sure you remember the password. Say OK. Re-enter the password 2021. Say OK. And now your sheet is protected. Let's see. If I try to change something here, it says it is a protected sheet. Change the description, it says it's a protected sheet. But everywhere else, it's not protected. See, you can type. See, that is it. But if you might have protected the whole, if you did not unlock the whole cells and directly went to protect sheet, everything will get protected and the task criteria will not be met. So that's why what did we do? We select everything, unlock the cells, then only locked the cells which you want to protect, and then you protect the sheet. If you want to unprotect it, click on unprotect and you have to put the password and they'll become unprotected, but we don't want to do that now because they did not ask you to do that. So that is the data protection done. And that is your first question. So let's see how much time it took for me with all the explanations. 36 minutes. So in your exam, you have around, I think, how much time you have? 90 minutes? Sorry, 1 hour. I think you have around 90 minutes, I think, for spreadsheets part in your exam. So you should be able to do 2 questions in 90 minutes, definitely, because each question will take 45 minutes if you do it thoroughly. Okay. So this is the first task 2.1. I'll do 2.2 next. Thank you for watching.